Welcome to Wellness Redefined. I am super excited to welcome our guest for today, Bea Arthur. Bea Arthur is a Columbia University trained psychotherapist, award-winning entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and pioneer in the e-therapy space. As the first African-American female founder accepted by Y Combinator, Bea was named as an entrepreneur to bet on by Newsweek magazine and one of the 100 most inspirational New Yorkers by Bumble. She's the founder and CEO of The Difference, the first on demand therapy service for in the moment issues, and co host of Tribulations, a live comedy therapy show with Roy Wood Jr. Please welcome Bea Arthur to Wellness Redefined. Hey, Bea, how you doing?
Hey, Tamika, how you doing, girl? Good to see you.
Good to see you. As always, you look amazing.
Thank you, friend. So do you, baby face. That's what they call her in Harlem, y'all. I'm putting that out there.
Oh, you are too much. Oh my gosh. So I just finished telling the world just how amazing you are, all the things you've accomplished, and all the things all about you when I did your intro. So I'm so happy and so blessed to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm blessed to be with the Harlem legend. I'm up here in Harlem as well. So it's so good to connect. Yes, and talk about all things business and Black women.
Yes. Now we are on this is Wellness Redefined, and I want you to tell me, when did you first fall in love with health and wellness?
Ooh, good question. So, yeah, we started the very beginning, baby B. It's so funny. I have my shirt that says Lady Boss. When I was a little baby boss, I was in real estate and just kind of like flaming out. When I first got to New York, I didn't know what I wanted to do. It was that I think they call it the terror, right? Where you just see a long hallway to retirement, just stuck in a job that you don't feel fulfilled in. And from my time in real estate, one of the things that I think made me good at my job was I'm mad nosy, right? Like my family is from Ghana, West Africans are very gossipy. And so part of my sales strategy, it wasn't actually a strategy, but I would just always ask people, like, do you think you really want to have kids with him? You think y'all gonna be together forever? Like just during the process of looking at
Oh my
houses, and
gosh.
because I'm mad
Would
nosy,
they
right?
answer?
Well, and this is how I fell in love with therapy. People just tell me, right? And I got a lot of referrals based on people thinking, she wants to help me make the right decision for my future. Like, she's gotten me thinking about these ways. Also, usually people's parents' money are involved. It's a very emotional decision in real estate. And finally, one of my clients told me, he was like, "You're really good at getting people to talk to you. You should be a therapist." And it was like, thing. And I only applied to one school, Columbia up in Harlem. Went to Teachers College for Columbia University. I did a dual master's in counseling and clinical psychology. And it just fell in my lap. I always say it came to me because, before that, I was bouncing around. I was temping all over the city. I did mad jobs, but psychology and business and wellness has been where I found myself, my path. So, yeah, ever since I graduated in 2008 and have been a therapist since then.
Oh my gosh. And I can totally see you doing that because I know even after class, when you come from class, I'm like, I'm standing there talking to you about everything. And I'm like, wait, I don't know how you get people to just like give you all the information all the time, but you are a pro at it.
Thank you. I'm
So I
really easy to
totally can
talk
see that.
to. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them told me they get people like and trust you, and I genuinely don't was I'm genuinely curious about people. I love people. One of the best part about being a therapist is you see people at their lowest, and there is not that much I can do or say except walk with them, guide them, and tell you I'll see you at the top of that mountain. I can see you on the other side. And what I've seen people overcome, I worked with addicts in recovery. I worked with in the New York City public school system. I work with survivors of domestic violence, and I've seen people overcome amazing things. So they've taught me so much more about what's possible with people. So that's just where I'm really happy to do my work.
And now how did therapy evolve for you? Did you have a therapist before and then you just like, you know, decided you this was how you wanted to start helping people? I heard the example you shared about, being able to people to open up to you and all these things, but were you yourself involved in therapy first?
So absolutely. That's actually how I evolved from just studying psychology to evolving my career into what I call psychology technology. So when I was a therapist as a domestic violence counselor in school, you're actually mandated to have therapy because how are you going to tell people to grow if you can't grow, right? So in
Right.
school, yeah, in school you get therapy and free therapy and subsidized therapy, but after school you don't. After school, if you don't have health insurance, if you don't have money for $200 an hour, some of these therapists are charging, you won't get paid. And this is me, like my friends, my closest friends were therapists, my mentors were therapists. I was a therapist and I was having trouble finding a therapist. And I was like, damn, if it's this hard for me, who's a practitioner in the space and who's an advocate in the space, how hard is it for the average person, you know? And so that is how I started my first company, which was called Pretty Padded Room. Our tagline was a nice place to go crazy. We were on Shark Tank and we were in business from 2011 to 2016. And yeah, we kind of put online therapy on the map back then. And that was kind of a combination of my sales skills from real estate and my domain expertise from being a licensed mental health counselor. And yeah, I've gotten to work with a lot of therapists. And I'm not just, and I love this is about wellness because I'm not just about talk therapy. I do coaching. One of the best coaches I've ever had has no mental health training at all. I do acupuncture. I do like sound stuff. I do ayahuasca. I'm a proud pothead. Anything that's gonna make me feel good and learn something about myself and evolve, I am all about. So yeah, I'm all about ascension.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is so amazing too, because you were online before online became a thing. Like we all jumped online when the pandemic hit, but
Pre-COVID,
you were
yeah.
there first.
Amen. Tell
Yeah.
the people, yes. I have been beating the drum for online therapy for over a decade. You know, we started in 2011. You know, I know some of the big players, Talkspace and BetterHelp, we all came up together. But yeah, that has just been my life's work. My mission is like just affordable, accessible mental health care. It's why I'm here.
Right. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily need to sit on your couch. I just want you to be available to talk to. And that is so brilliant to make it so accessible to people.
Thank
That and
you.
listen, it's amazing to me because when the pandemic hit, all these businesses were pivoting online. I'm like, well, why were we online in the first place? It seemed like this would have been
Why?
easier.
We were already online. People are spending all their time online. You don't also need to spend your time in traffic. You don't also need to spend your time in the waiting room. Like you can get value, and that's our value is just like the human connection piece. So I've been trying to remove all the barriers around that and just make it easier to connect.
Woo, okay. Well, you bring me right to that next question about just these myths and untruths that are out there and misconceptions that are just out there in the world when it comes towards therapy, where it
Yeah.
comes towards wellness. Like, what is that one thing that if this is it, if I could get one message out there, what is that one myth or untruth that you want to just dispel for everyone?
I mean, there's so many. I've literally been telling people this is like the miseducation of mental health, like, because on the one hand, I'm really glad people are finally talking about it, but on the
Yeah,
other hand, I feel like we've avoided talking about mental health for so long that we don't know how to talk about it now. So I would say the number one thing, though, is that the number one myth for me is that therapy is just for crazy people. Because that's not true. Let me tell you something about crazy people. They do not know they're crazy. They're not rooted in our reality. There is not a
that is a
damn.
fact, though,
Let
right?
me tell
Like
you
crazy
something.
people that know they're crazy.
They're having the time of their life. Being right about everything, doing things their way. They're not rooted in reality, like true what we call personality disorder or behavioral disorder. Like not even to make it political, but like people always talk about Trump needs to go to therapy, this and that. Why would he go to therapy? That is exactly how he wants to be,
Yeah,
live, do. It has worked out for him. And so this is what I would say. People are not in therapy because they're crazy. The primary reason I've seen people come to therapy or seek out services is if they are in either in distress or
yeah,
discovery. And so by distress, I mean just the inevitable challenges of life, right? Like I'm going through this breakup. I don't like this job, like I may need to leave this state or city or whatever. And these are just normal transitional things that sometimes you can use a third party who isn't as invested. Because sometimes you'll call your friends and family or they'll overreact, right? And that's not the clarity that you're looking for. And sometimes you'll
yeah,
call them they'll underreact, and people can and do say the wrong things when people are in pain, that keep you from moving forward and healing. So it's really great to have an objective perspective who actually has guidance and insight. Like I've seen so many things, nothing phases me. And then I would
yeah,
say the other time that people come is in discovery, right? Like, I want to know more about myself. I clearly have a blind spot or an issue that keeps leading me towards the same patterns, the same people that I know don't work for me, right? Maybe I've outgrown certain things and I can't see it. So I would say the best time to go to therapy is if you're in distress or discovery. You do not have to be crazy. You will not be in therapy forever. Just understand this is like, I always say deep down, you already know the truth a little bit. We just give you glasses to see it. So that's how I see the experience of therapy.
oh my gosh, that is so true. Like, You hit so many good points there. Like one, I always tell people because we always hear the things. We hear myths and stuff about um, all these different things going on where you have imposter syndrome, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, people who don't belong in the room don't have imposter syndrome. They just
Nope.
automatically have the confidence to be in this room. Like it's crazy, right? The
Told
people who
you.
really should be in the room are the ones. So I'm like, it's interesting that you mentioned like crazy people don't go to counseling, like because they don't
Yeah.
know. It's all connected. Like that self awareness is like being able to
Yes.
find that
Exactly.
self awareness on that you need help and you need someone to talk to. But then also finding the right person to talk to, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's a big thing for people. Because we all have friends, but some of them we might not need to go to for advice.
Why would I go to
Like,
them for advice? She a whole hoe, and I love her, but we came up together. I know how she living. I
right?
can't go to her for advice. I can go to my mom for advice. Like, you can't talk to your man about the issues you're experiencing with your man, unless you're in couples counseling and there's like a referee or a mediator kind of thing. So yeah, it's always
Yes.
helpful to have somebody who you can trust, who is in my case legally obligated to trust me. I can't tell nobody. Which sucks because again, I do love to gossip, but I mistakenly chose a career. I hear some of the most scandalous things, and I can't tell nobody. So
Can't tell
legally,
nobody. Nope.
very trustworthy, legally trustworthy. And also it's just a place to think your thoughts because honestly, because we are operating on the same set of thoughts, behaviors, stimuli most days, a lot of these things and our problems are invisible to us. So sometimes it takes time to kind of like just think your thoughts out loud without judging, without needing to come to a conclusion. And it helps to have a thought partner in that way.
Yeah,
But you're absolutely right.
absolutely.
Therapy doesn't work if the therapist doesn't work for you. It is absolutely about having the right match.
Having the right person. And then how do you find that right person? Like, what should you be looking for when you're trying to find that person that you can talk to?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really grateful. Like I said, like the field has come a long way. So now there are more specialized marketplaces like therapy for Black girls, therapy for Black men. There's one called Cove that's for people who are AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander. There's one called Violet, which is fantastic. That's for people in the queer community. So there are lots of specialized marketplaces, but our industry unfortunately is very fragmented. Like, you can go to, I'll just say some of the biggest ones: Psychology Today, Headway, Alma. These are places that you can put in what you're looking for. Oh, My Wellbeing is a great one. These are places you could put for the specializations you're looking for. Like, I want to talk about trauma or divorce or whatever. You can also put the cultural competency you might be looking for. But I do tell, since we're Black women, I do tell people, as much as cultural competence is important, it's not always the best. I think you should go based on their skill set and their specialization the most. Because I remember I used to have clients who really wanted a Black woman, and sometimes they'd be in session and they'd be like, "Oh, but you know how it is, girl." But it's very important that you know how it is, right? Like, you can't assume that me and you have the same thing, and it's
Yeah.
important for you to tease it out, right? Because there's something in there that you need to understand and that I need to understand. So, sometimes it depends. It's just about finding the right personality fit and finding the right person who has the right specialization for what you're going through.
Yeah. No, that is, you listen, you are dropping so many gems today.
I do
So many
this.
gems. Because I think people haven't really also picked up on we need to have the same, like, experiences and the same. Because we just because we're both Black women doesn't mean we've had the same life experiences. I grew up in a Jamaican household, immigrated into the country. Like, it was
Mm,
it's a different path I had to
yeah,
take getting here. But because
exactly.
we have some of shared experiences, but those might not be the experiences that have caused me trauma that I need to talk about. So, like, finding someone who can kind of connect to that is so
Mhm.
important, and just not making the assumption that based off of race or gender that this person isn't sharing those experiences with you.
Absolutely, exactly. Like, I'm first generation, but you were raised you actually were born somewhere else, right? Or one of us, we're both Black businesswomen in Harlem. You would think we'd be very aligned, but what if one of us is Muslim, right? That's a different kind of pressure, like versus Christian households or not. So and again, nobody needs to exactly align and
Th-
understand your unique human experience, but just understand that even if the person looks a lot like you, take the time to tease it out. Don't assume that they understand what your experience like. It's your benefit to tease it apart too and learn what it's trying to teach you. That's why people come to us. I always tell people, it sounds bad, but pain is my paycheck. You know what I mean? People pay
that
me,
pain is my paycheck. What a saying.
period. And it sounds bad, but I only mean the only reason I can exist and have a living is because I will pay attention to your pain when you won't. Pain is very valuable. It has lots of lessons for you. It actually has a purpose, even physically, right? If your back is hurting, you need to like go over to Harlem Cycle, tone up your core. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If your knee is hurting, you need to go and we are the only animals that don't pay attention to our pain, don't pay attention to our instincts. In fact, the blessing and the burden of being a human animal is the human mind, right? We are the only animal that denies our instincts. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Isn't that
Like if
crazy?
I was
And
a
they say we're
deer
so evolved.
and we're so old, I'm telling you, this mind really gets us back with the back in the early primal ways of thinking. Because think about it, if I'm a deer and I see a lion, am I gonna think maybe he's not hungry today? Like maybe he won't pick me. No, maybe I can change him, head ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I would but humans will overthink it out of something that they know that they need to do, right? Similarly, you will be uncomfortable. You are uncomfortable because you need to move. And that's literally what emotions mean. It comes from the word emotare, which means to move, motor. You're supposed to move away or towards something. So that's why I say pain is my paycheck. Your emotions are very valuable, and every emotion deserves equal respect. And every single piece of you deserves your attention. And I think it's valuable. A lot of people think it's painful, but I think you can do that work together.
Oh my, I felt like I just went through therapy. You have said so many things. I'm like, you are so that deer is not gonna be questioning that line. What are your intentions with me? What? No, come on, get
Get
out
up
of here.
out of there. No, don't overthink it. Just be like, got
And we
it.
are here literally, and I am someone who has a plan. I go from plan A to plan Z. I have every plan in between just because
Mm.
I've overthought everything. And it's just like, okay, go with
Was
your
that
emotions, use your
helpful?
instincts. Like,
Right.
yes, listen, I've gotten therapy in these past few minutes.
There's a
Just from
lot
that one
coming.
saying alone.
I'm so glad because I mean, that's the other thing. People are just very overwhelmed, especially New Yorkers. They say that 90% of New Yorkers, our feet never touch the ground, right? Which means our head is in the clouds, our head is in our thoughts, right? And so we're so disconnected from our inner voice, from our inner guidance system, and especially with like the onslaught of social media. There's, that's what they call it programming. There's other people's thoughts. There's old thoughts that are affecting our thoughts and how we move forward because we're really disconnected from how we feel and how we think. So that's what I'm saying. Tap in, listen to what your body's trying to tell you.
Tap into those feelings, tap into those
It's
emotions. Oh
gold
my
in
gosh, I
there.
love this.
It's
Oh,
gold.
this has been so eye-opening. Thank you. Thank you.
My
Thank you for this
pleasure.
15-minute therapy session.
My pleasure. It's literally my
Now,
favorite thing to do. It's my favorite thing to do. Is talk to people.
I listen, and it's such it's so refreshing to talk to someone who you can tell just the passion comes through, like how you're changing everyone and changing the community, redefining wellness. Like you're doing it, and I love that. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much. I
Now,
love
before we
change. And
go,
it's
how do people
yes.
find you?
Yes. So my name is Bea Arthur. So if you Google Bea Arthur, there is another lady that comes up first. Shout out to her, the original Golden Girl. But if you put Bea Arthur Therapy, my website is bearthurtherapy.com. You can learn all about me there. I don't post on Insta that much, but I do need new followers. So on Insta, I'm B Arthur. And yeah, the difference is pause right now. It's a really tough time in startups right now, but we're reopening in the fall. So if you want to be on our wait list for the difference, we believe the right talk at the right time can make all the difference. Go to our website, which is thedifference.co, and you can sign up for our website and follow our progress there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
You are so funny. Thank you. This is so fun. I can't believe it's over already, but thank you so much for
Yeah,
having me. Shout out to Wellness
of
Redefined. Shout
course.
out to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, B.
Thank you. Bye, audience.
Thanks so much for listening to Wellness Redefined. If you want to learn more about our guest, Bea Arthur, check out links in the show notes. We'd love to know your thoughts on wellness. Connect with us on Instagram. Our handle is wellnessredefined_, or visit our website at Harlem Cycle. Thanks again for listening. If you like what you hear, please share with a friend. We'll be back next time with more on Wellness Redefined. Until then, I'm Tamika Rochester. Take care.